I hear the train a-coming, it's rolling round the bend, and I see the sunshine since I don't know when. I'm stuck in Folsom Prison, and time keeps dragging on. But that train keeps rolling on like a sad train. When I was just baby, my mama told me, son, always keep the right on, never play with guns. But I shot a man, just to watch him die. When I hear the whistle blowing, I hear cigars. Well, I know I had it coming. I know I can't be free. But those people keep a moving, and that's what tortures me. Get me from this prison, let that railroad train was mine. Now that I move it on a little further down the line. Far from Folsom Prison, that's where I want to stay.
Howdy! Well, let's bring Tan in here. Let's try to bring Tan in here. Alrighty, there she is. Adding. Well, hello there.
Hi.
I can see you. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you. I can hear you.
Yeah, you're sounding a lot clearer today. I was trying to clear up the network, and I think I figured out what the problem was.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the problem?
The problem is Sean has way too many Wi-Fi devices hooked up to his hotspot.
That's what I thought. Yep, okay.
So anyway, kind of a cool little gadget. Did you happen to look at that Sling Studio?
No, I didn't, but I
Oh
will.
my goodness.
I'm going to look at it on a real computer, though.
Yeah, you're going to look at it and go, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Oh.
It's pretty cool. It's got a battery pack. It's completely portable. It's
Cool.
got 10 ports.
10? Wow,
10.
10. It's hot today.
Wow, I'm kind of laggy. Is my video laggy?
No,
Huh. Wonder what's going on.
hey, Michael.
Hey, Mike, how you doing? Okay, this might get funky for a second, but I'll be right back if it goes anywhere.
Okay. I think he's frozen.
Okay,
Now you're
well, that's
unfrozen.
way smoother. Cool. Alrighty, so what we have going on tonight, we've got Washplant Wednesday. So as always, well, as of recent, we're going to start out by looking up the gold price.
Ah,
Okay, we've got the Kitco gold prices here.
and what's
Oh,
that?
looks like gold went down almost $1, so it's at 1273.70,
Really?
and silver is at 1505.
Okay.
So
It went up.
that's okay. $1 or $2 fluctuation in gold is not a big deal. It does that, often. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. It's when it takes a big dive down or a big dive up that you start going, uh-oh, what's going on
Yeah.
here?
Well,
So it's not doing
according
that
to
right
what?
now, so
Yeah.
that's a good thing. All
So how was your
righty.
day? How was your day?
Well, I had an okay day. I I had a Mandela moment experience in my own life, and it
Really?
was the most bizarre thing.
Okay.
Okay, in one of the live streams about 3 or 4 days ago, I'll have to go back and look and see which one it was. I had to go back today and check it because I know for a fact that I had read part of my schedule and was talking about working at the Redmond Hotel for 3 days this week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I was reading it directly off of my phone onto the live stream.
Yeah.
I wrote
Okay.
it down.
Uh-huh.
Today I show up and they said, "What's going on?" And I said, "I was supposed to work at the hotel today." And they said, "You're not on the schedule at the hotel." I said, "I am too. I wrote it down. I've been talking about it all week." And they said, "No, go open up your schedule." I opened up the same schedule,
Yeah.
and I had 2 days at the Redmond Hotel,
Yeah.
and then I had 3 hours at another job, and then at the shop, and then the shop tomorrow. That's
Yeah.
not what I wrote down. I was writing it down directly off the schedule. There was nobody else's schedule that was written that way. I was the only one that had Redmond Hotel at the beginning 2 days. Okay, when I went back and looked at the piece of paper I wrote it down on, in my writing, it said I worked at the hotel for 2 days. I worked at the other project for 3 hours and then was at the shop Wednesday, Thursday. Okay, that's not what I wrote down. I know what I wrote down. I wrote it.
Okay. Okay.
I know. It is weird, isn't it? Either my brain is severely messed up, or something weird just happened.
Ugh.
Anyway, the
I
guys I
miss
work with are under one impression, and it doesn't have anything to do with anything weird going on.
Sean has lost it. That's what they're thinking. Sean has lost it.
No, Sean got called a retard. Sean got called a retard multiple times today.
That's not.
So
I don't approve.
it is what it is. Sean is a retard sometimes. But anyway, so we have Washplant Wednesday. We are going to dive right in here, and I believe we're going to talk about trommels.
Enlighten us about trommels.
Well, you tell me what you know about trommels.
Not a thing.
Not a thing.
Not a
Sweet.
thing.
I'm the expert.
Yes, ask expert. Ask an expert. We're asking you, Sean. What are trommels? Oh, tribbles.
Okay,
I know tribbles.
trommel. No, we're not. There is no trouble with triplets. Okay, this
Hi,
is a
Rhonda.
trouble with trommels. Well, hello, Rhonda. Welcome. We're
So,
talking about trommels.
okay, I don't know trommels, but I know tribbles very well.
Tribbles, yes. You don't run tribbles through trommels. It creates troubles.
And what would Spock say about that?
It is highly illogical
Highly illogical. Yes.
to run tribbles through trommels, causing nothing but troubles. I sound like Dr. Seuss. I could probably write a Dr. Seuss book on the tribbles with trommels and the troubles they cause.
Okay, explain. What is a trommel?
Okay, here's what a trommel is. A trommel is a long tube that's got different types of holes in it. Okay, you've got on the very outside, you've got very fine mesh holes on the very outside. Now, on
Hey,
the
Barbie.
inside, you've got, what's that?
I said, hey, Barbie. Barbie just stepped in.
Oh, I can't even see her. Hi, Barb.
Okay.
Okay, so anyway, as I was saying, the very outside cylinder, and we're talking about, some trommels, the cylinders are 10 feet high, okay, and they're, 50 feet long. Okay, the one that I built, it was 2 feet high on the outside cylinder, and then you have about a 6-inch gap on the inside of that with your bigger mesh screen. And what you're doing is you're sending in one end of this cylinder, you send all your material into a hopper. Okay, and it sends it right into the center cylinder where the biggest mesh is. And it allows you gravels to fall into the next mesh, and it separates them all the way down into the fine mesh. Now, the reason why you're doing this is because all of your big rocks that are in the middle, this whole thing is turning with water jets. So it's washing all those gravels down, and as soon as it goes all the way down through the mesh, it drops into your sluice box. So it takes all the fine gravels that you're just dumping into the header box, and it separates them by size, and it puts all the fine stuff into your sluice box, and it pushes all the other gravels and stuff down towards the end for further inspection, because there's always a chance you could have ran a giant nugget. You never know. Stranger things have happened. Most of the time, trommels are meant to find more coarse gold, which is your smaller nuggets. They're not really set up great to catch fine gold, but there are some trommels that are really good at catching fine gold. You can get on YouTube and you can actually see a lot of different versions of trommels that people have actually DIY'd together. They've done it themselves and built these things out of just parts they had laying around the house, and they work great, and they actually will save you a lot of back-breaking labor. Basically, okay, when we were talking earlier about when you're panning and you have what's called a grizzly pan, okay, a grizzly pan goes over the top of your 5-gallon bucket, and it's got a mesh. So you empty your shovel of dirt into the grizzly, and then you've got your water level all the way up to the top of the bucket. So your grizzly pan is actually submersed into the water a little bit. So when you shake it back and forth, the gravel drops down through those mesh, leaving the bigger rocks, because you don't want to have to pan out big rocks. It knocks gold out of your pan. So the grizzly basically is the trommel. Okay, it's separating your gravels away from your bigger rocks. And it also allows you to have time to take bigger rocks and to set them in your grizzly pan and kind of wash all the sand and gravels off of them. And sometimes you find big rocks that have real jagged edges or cracks in them that you want to clean out the clay and the mud that's in them, because gold really likes to hide in cracks. It really likes to hide in cracks. So if you see a crack in bedrock, always, I don't care if it's a non-gold bearing area, check it out, because you never know what's washed down, 20 miles down the river and stuck in a crack. I found nuggets in non-gold bearing areas that made no sense. You don't see any flour gold at all, and you find one lonely nugget. So, and some miner didn't just drop it. So, but anyway, that is the basics of a trommel setup. I'm going to be building a trommel. I've got most of the parts for it. I actually, when I first came down to Oregon, I started getting pieces to a trommel together and started building it, and ended up in a situation to where I could not continue building the trommel and had no place to store it, so I had to sell it as scrap metal. But I kept all the important parts off of it, the motor, the transmission, everything that you need. And this trommel, you'd be able to run easily a ton of gravel within about a half hour, no problem. So anyway, that's what a trommel is, and they're nice to have for test digs, because you just take a bobcat in, you got yourself the trommel pulled behind a rig, you take your bobcat, you get some good shovelfuls into the header, you turn it on, 10 minutes later you got concentrate down at the bottom, and you've got a pretty accurate summary of the ground that you're digging on. So
Okay.
so
we get
anyway,
that.
that is one type of a wash plant, is a trommel setup. And again, today I was watching a couple of videos on prospecting, and ran across the same guy that went and tested out the Gold Claw, the Australian guy that I was talking about. Okay. You never guess what he's got in the bottom of his sluice box.
Gold.
Vortex mat.
Oh, he had the vortex mat. Well,
He said he will never, ever, ever go back. He said the Vortex mat is the ultimate in prospecting equipment. So
how many do we need to order?
all of them. We need to own all of them. All of it.
Uh,
Actually, I'm going to be looking into it because I'm sure they didn't mean to, but they slipped and told me what the material is actually made for and
really?
where they found it. So
Yeah.
I now know where they get it wholesale.
Okay, good. Good. So that
but
means you get, yes.
but they only make one size for the
Yeah,
purpose that it was actually made for.
the
So
little squares, right?
no, no, no,
It-
no. They're the bigger ones.
Oh, the bigger ones?
Yeah, the smaller ones are the ones that they had to have made specialty, and that's why it's so expensive, is because they started having their own design made specifically. And I was like, I'll go cheap.
Well, I know the video that they showed at the GPAA fair was that was a lot. There was a lot of gold coming out after, on the video. It
Yeah.
was just like, wow, it was
Well,
amazing.
what I found so amazing was the fact that when I asked him, so how long have you used this stuff without cleaning it? And sorry, I just had a message pop up from our friend. She's laying back down,
Okay.
but at least she checked in. So anyway, he actually told me, and I kind of feel bad because my reaction kind of insinuated he was lying to me.
What?
6 weeks. He ran material through a sluice box for 6 weeks without cleaning it and did not lose one speck of gold. Do you have a hard time believing that? Because I know I
Oh,
did.
yeah.
Okay,
But
but
did he prove it?
he actually said it on camera, and I made him repeat it on camera. We're going to hold
Okay.
him to it. We're going to do a 6-week test on his vortex mat.
Okay. I
So
I got no problem with it. I mean, 6 weeks.
6 weeks, a month and a half. I have a hard time believing that crap.
So, but I mean, the product works. We know it works.
Absolutely.
But okay.
But 6 weeks, okay. Okay, if you guys don't understand why I'm having such a hard time with this, okay, let me explain something to you. Okay, a traditional sluice box has riffles in it. And what those riffles are little arms that go all the way across that they've got a angle at about a 45 degree, maybe a little bit less than a 45-degree angle, and they cause an eddy to form. As the material's going over the top of the riffle, it gets sucked up underneath, and the heavy stuff drops out, and it keeps up underneath these riffles. Well, the problem is when you get so much material that goes over it, all the heavy material drops in under those riffles and it packs up, and the gold just bounces right up and over the top of it because there's no more eddy created.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what they call sluice overload. Now, a sluice overload is one of the worst things that can happen to a prospector because usually the longer you dig, the further down you dig, the bigger gold you get. The bigger gold actually will bounce off your sluice box faster than the fine gold. Here's why. Bigger gold acts more like a sail because it has, more mass, obviously. Well, the water has a lot of force behind it, and it hits that solid mass and it pushes it. Okay, the fine gold, however, is very, very small. It drops out very fast and it hugs the bottom anywhere that an eddy is created. The smaller the gold, the smaller the eddy that's needed. So it could be just a little piece of gravel in there that's stuck that creates an eddy, and you could have little tiny pieces of flour gold stuck in that little eddy. Well, when the sluice box gets overloaded, there's less and less and less places for that gold to rest. So
Yep.
eventually your gold's just going to pop out.
Yep.
Okay, with a vortex mat, however, the gold settles to the very bottom of the vortexes. And these vortexes are in lines all the way across the mat, all the way down. So it looks like when you're looking at it, it looks like some weird, trippy looking spiral pattern paisley thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, each one of these little vortexes is constantly spinning as the water is rushing over the top. So any type of material that drops down in there has a liquefaction process. So it's continuously moving. So anything that's heavy, the heaviest materials, are going to drop down to the very bottom of that vortex, and that's where they're going to stay. And as that vortex fills up with the gold and the heavies, okay, it'll go all the way up to the top until that vortex is canceled. Okay, so then it moves on to the vortex next. And then it's
Yeah.
continuously filling it up. Well,
Hmm.
there's so many vortexes in this mat, and the chances of you filling up every single one of these vortexes with gold is slim to none because these vortexes are pretty deep. So when you actually sit down and analyze how it could run for 6 weeks, theoretically it's possible. I need to actually see it with my own eyes to believe it, but theoretically it's sound. It is
Okay.
possible to run material through a sluice for 6 weeks with vortex map.
Okay. So the video that he showed us, that
Yeah.
he was showing with the gold coming out, I believe he
Uh-huh.
said, I believe he said that that one had ran for 6 weeks.
No.
No, that
No,
wasn't the right one.
that one they set up at the beginning of the show. Okay.
Yeah.
He said out at his claim the longest they had run it, and this was one of their initial tests, I guess. So see, that's where I started thinking about it, and is if I can get this stuff wholesale, that's the stuff that he was using for the 6 weeks. Because the way that he worded it to me is when they started doing tests on it is when they did the 6 week stretch to see how long it could go.
Yeah.
And that kind of told me it was at the beginning. So that was the actual mat that they had bought
Okay.
for the original purpose.
Yeah.
So, anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to get a hold of some of this stuff. We're going to go out and do our own tests. I'm already sold on the product, whether the tests are good or bad. I'm sold on it just because the science is so cool. I
It is.
mean, it's
It was.
seriously,
Yeah.
it is so cool. Fluid dynamics. I know that most of what we had to learn in school in earth sciences was boring, but seriously, fluid dynamics is so fascinating when you start getting into the gold prospecting end of it. It is just absolutely killer. I mean, I've seen some experiments to where they were able to separate gold from material before it even hit the mat.
Wow.
Okay, just by creating a channel in the right place with the right flow, they could run their material across a flat surface, and there's this channel right in the center of this surface that runs all the way across. It flows across it, the gold drops out right into the channel, and then when all the material has gone across and all you've got is black sand and gold in there, you take a slat and you stick it right down into the channel, not all the way down to the bottom, but just enough to get the flow, and you can actually watch the gold in there start spinning and all the black sand spits out. I've never seen anything like it. They actually separate gold before they run it through the sluice.
Wow.
That is like the most bizarre thing. I could not even wrap my brain around the concept of what I was watching, because it was like, why would you waste your time running it through the sluice if you already pulled the gold out?
Just to get the most you can get out of it.
Well, yeah, and that was the whole thing is I don't think he realized what he had done and what he had discovered until he started doing those tests, because even though he was running the experiment, he was acting like I was. It was like, what the? No. What? No. And it was just, I was like, okay, I, I want to be him.
You want that feeling of elation and wonder and awe
it,
and oh my
it was
gosh.
a, yeah, it was a true eureka moment. It was
Yeah.
like, I can't believe I just discovered that. Now what am I going to do with it? I
Yeah.
know. I'll make a YouTube video.
Which is exactly what you would do.
I'd probably not only make a YouTube video, I'd probably make blueprints for it. I'd probably come up
Well,
with a
I
series of videos on how every type of sluice box you could think of, how to install one of these things, or, I am going to, um, a panning station is like a sink. It's like a pedestal sink that's big, but it has
Yep.
water continuously flowing through it so that all your sediments are dropping down to the bottom.
Yep.
And you pan so that you don't have to be stooped over and you don't have to kill your back off. But usually you build these things in your backyard and you have them to where they're recirculating. They've got a
Yeah.
filter system to where they have the water kind of clear. Okay, well, those type of panning stations are really super cool for setting up streams. And how you do it is you set your panning station up, you get not a whole bunch of water inside of it, but you have it on enough of a tilt to where it has a good flow. You put your rocks in there, you build your little fake stream, and then you set up your sluice box. Okay, now the reason why you do this is especially if you're a novice. Okay, the more practice you can get with that sluice box, you need to. Okay, if you have ever shot a rifle before, Okay, you understand how that rifle has to become an extension of yourself to be able to fire it correctly. Okay, a sluice box has to be an extension of yourself as well. You have to have almost a sixth sense developed with that sluice box. You don't want ever anybody to walk along, look at your sluice box and go, "You're doing it wrong." That is the most humiliating thing that you as a prospector could ever hear. Make sure that you do your homework before you go out and do this stuff, because if you don't, you're just going to look like an idiot and it doesn't feel good. That's kind of why we're here doing this, is because we want you guys to go out and find gold and not be like one of these idiots that goes out and thinks that they they know based on their feelings. Okay, feelings don't find gold. There's only
No.
one person I have ever met that feelings find gold, and he is an idiot. I'd never follow him anywhere.
Okay.
So anyway, um, yeah. So we are going to be going out on our first trip. It's a day trip
Hmm.
to Quartzville, Oregon, and that's down in the Santiam Pass area. It's
Yep.
going to be on the 11th of May, and you
Yep.
all are invited.
Hmm.
Okay, doesn't cost a thing. You guys can come. I'll show you how to pan. Okay, I'll show you where to find gold, how to look for gold, and we're just going to have a good time. I'm going to teach you how to use sluice boxes, and we've got some. You know what? I think we're even going to give our last big gold claw away up there. So
So if they show up,
somebody,
they could win.
yep, you could have your own gold claw gold pan, and all you
Okay,
have to
that's
do is come
awesome.
up panning with us. So if you guys are out of state, I apologize. I would love for you guys to come here. In fact, if you guys ever come to Oregon, or if you ever want to learn how to pan, don't be afraid to get a hold of me. Okay?
Yeah.
If there is one thing that I love to do, and Tan will attest to this, is I love to teach people how to prospect. That is one of my favorite things to do. I'm a very patient teacher. Okay, I am not one of these guys that is in a rush. Okay, if it takes you a long time to learn, then it takes me a long time to teach you. I don't mind. So that's one of the things that I want you guys to feel like you have access to resources. Um, yeah, there's just so much potential for you guys to go out and get gold out of the ground, get gemstones out of the ground. Um,
Well, I was going to say that wash station that you were talking about, or not the wash
yeah,
station, but the panning station.
the
Panning
yeah.
stations are excellent for gyms because you're gonna you
Oh,
if you go to some of these places where they have gyms, they have these already set up so that you can go in and look for these little tiny gym pieces. So just think of it this way: if you're at home and you build one of these, then in your own leisure time, you can go in and look for it more than just remnants of the gems. You can actually find some really nice pieces. Just bring the dirt home. Take your
absolutely.
time, just and that's the one thing that I always wanted Sean to do. Bring me home dirt. Please bring me home dirt.
Well, we're definitely going to be doing pay dirt, because I really see I know that most of our feedback on the pay dirt giveaways has been really positive because people want pay dirt, they want gold, and I can't blame them. I want gold too. Um, I really think that our outings and stuff, when we go and run our concentrate, I think that is going to be some really good pay dirt to give away because it's going to have the badass stamp on it. And boy, what better gold to have than badass mining crew gold? So
And it could be from just about anywhere because we
yeah,
like going everywhere.
and see, the one thing that I want to video document a lot of our finds and stuff because I have this idea that I'm going to be trying to develop here in the future. And one thing that you guys, if you guys want to help us out, okay, if you guys are rock hounds, if you like picking up rocks, collecting rocks, putting them in your pocket, if you appreciate, pretty rocks or, actually appreciate geology in general, start picking up those rocks and specifically start thinking about the badass mining company for those rocks. I would really like to set up a specimen trading site to where if you have certain types of rocks that are unavailable in different parts of the country and you see somebody else has rocks that you have no access to that you'd like, maybe you can trade up
Okay,
and
so
maybe you can
so I
start
have
building a collection.
so okay, for those of us who are rather kind of superstitious, um, Hawaii has got a thing about people sending rocks out of the out of the state and have people send the rocks back to the state. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so I feel I feel very hesitant about taking any rocks out of Hawaii.
What's going on your end? You all of a sudden, your voice all of a sudden started getting all robotic again.
I don't know. I'm turning into
Not for me, is
Terminator.
it?
Who knows?
T2, you liquefy and come back, right?
Right.
Well, it's that time of the night to where I need a refill.
Go for it. I've been drinking juice all day.
Hey,
Hmm.
one of the things that I was going to break into, boy, this is kind of a different view. Hi there. Um, is we're going to be hitting 2 agate mines here in the next, I would say, month and a half.
Yeah,
And they're really close to each other.
yeah.
And that was one of the things that I wanted to do was build up a whole bunch of agates. I mean, like hundreds of agates uh, for the beginning of that specimen trading site. So we're going to be doing our own mining and starting it off. But yeah, those are going to be available for trade. And I don't even know if I want to have any personal specimens because I think that I would rather share them with you guys than keep them for myself because I'll have the badass mining site that I can always pull up the video of getting those agates and where they go. I have that
Well,
knowledge too.
okay. Sean would give anything away, and Tan is all for giving things away. But Tan also believes that Sean needs to keep some of the things for himself because
Give it away, give it away, give it
we're
away
not
now.
we're not super rich, and I think that Sean needs to rethink some of this, please.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. No.
Everything is a work in progress. Things change based on
See?
necessity, and
Okay. So, absolutely, you got to live. Absolutely. And Sean is a very giving person, and I have to watch him every so often because he will give his last dime away to anybody.
I did. I just did.
Yeah, to rent. So, but anyway, yeah, I would love to get some agates and I'd love to go out. I want to do the beach thing. I think that will be really cool.
Well, there's uh oh, okay. Okay, you just inspired me. Okay, we're
Okay,
gonna do a beach trip, but you're gonna have to get it organized.
sure.
Okay, I know the spot,
Okay,
I know the campsite, and
okay.
I know where there's fossils, gold, and agates all on one beach.
Oh, I would love it. I would love it. So is this a day trip or this is an overnight trip?
Um, I think to be fair, because this stretch of beach is actually 7 miles long,
Wow.
I think that overnight is probably warranted. So it would be a Saturday, Sunday trip.
Okay.
And it would be family friendly. So um, I think that anytime that we collect fossils or agates, it's going to be a family event. And anytime that we're going out specifically to go gold prospecting, you got to leave the kiddos at home. And there's a reason for it, because a lot of the times that we're doing our prospecting, it's next to rushing water. And nothing makes me more paranoid than children next to water, because Sean has drowned a few times. So it makes me
Well, not
really
only
nervous. And
kids, kids
uh,
do kids do
yeah,
things. I mean, they our son, okay, so his big thing was always to dive first into a pool of water. And he messed his back up or neck up pretty bad because, well, he hit bottom with his head. And so they do things. I mean, they're kids and they do things, but you can't focus on the gold and panning and all the other things that go with it, and then focus on the children at the same time. And
right.
it's really hard to do.
Well, plus, and I hate to put it this way, because, we've been parents too, and feeling like you're excluded because you have kids just isn't fun. But you've got to remember, if you've got a family, if you've got kids, okay, your priority is not what you're there for. Your
Yeah,
priority is your kids. Okay. So there's a big difference between showing up at a family friendly function and somewhere that's more of a outdoor classroom.
yeah,
Okay. And you have to be able to separate those two. And if you
yeah.
do bring your kids to one of the more prospecting based ones, um, it's going to be one of those situations to where we'll sit down with the adults and the adults can sit down with their kids. Okay.
Because
Um,
that's something that's really good because you learn and then you pass it on to your children. Well, there's a memory
right.
there, but the whole thing is that maybe they'll pass it down to their kids, and it's just it just works. I think that kids really learn from their parents watching and interacting with them, which is something most parents don't do anymore these days. I mean, we saw it at the Gold Show. That was really
Oh,
cool
yeah.
because the kids were right there with the parents, but a lot. I had never seen more well-behaved children, but these kids have been around gold mining for all their life.
Yeah.
And if your child hasn't been around it, the most intriguing things is the leaf on the ground over there by the cliff that goes off into the stream that has a rock bottom to it. And you're like, where's my kid? Because you're not used to it. I mean,
Plus,
they,
there are a lot of factors other than just water.
yeah,
Wildlife is probably number two concern when
yeah,
it comes to prospecting.
yeah.
Um, Kids have a tendency to attract wildlife. It's just the way
The
it
high
is.
squeal,
They
the high
drop
squeal.
food, they smell like food, they're small, you know, they have a
Yeah,
tendency to run around and act a fool. Well,
because they're having
animals
fun.
like that type of behavior.
Yeah,
So,
they're having
um,
fun.
yeah, and see, I just want to interject something here, okay? If any of you guys think that I don't like teaching kids how to pan, I love teaching kids how to pan. But you could sit there with the same kid and teach him how to pan for 4 hours and not get anything through his little head. Okay? Well, when you're on a weekend with a whole bunch of people and you're having to take a quarter of your weekend to teach one child, it's a little disrupting. So that would be the only reason why, is because of safety and the fact that we're trying to get as much information out to you guys as possible. So if you guys want to bring your family out or whatever, that's cool, but just understand that when we actually do go out and prospect, that it's time to get serious, and it becomes classroom time. So that's when we start having adult fun, okay? And digging the gold out of the ground and being waist deep in the stream, and learning how to do it right without being distracted. So
Yeah,
that would be the only reason why we're separating the two type of events. But any time that there's a fun element, and what I mean by fun is fossils or agates or rocks or anything like that, that's fun. Okay. You don't have to explain anything to anybody when you say, hey, look, an agate. It's self-explanatory.
yeah. Give the
Hey,
kids a
look, a
shovel.
fossil. What kind of fossil? An old fossil.
But when you're doing that, I mean, you give a kid a shovel and tell him to go dig a hole. The kid's gonna go dig a hole. Well, you can go in and go, okay, well, let's see if there's any gold in here, or let's see what else is in here. Yeah, put the
Yeah.
kid to work.
Yeah, keeping kids distracted while you're mining is definitely an important thing. Firewood was always my go-to.
Yeah, if you
Okay.
can, go get firewood.
Yeah, because the number one complaint of a kid when you're out mining is, I'm cold. I'm bored.
I'm wet.
Okay, well, if you're cold and
I'm
bored, go
hungry.
out and get firewood so that we can build a fire when we're done mining, and then you can
Yep,
get warm.
yep.
Well, I'm
Bring
cold now. Well, if you're cold, you're not working hard enough.
And if it's the right time of season and you're out at the beach, get them a clam digger. Send them out to
There you go.
go dig clams up.
Go get some geoducks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, boy, that would be good.
Oh, yeah. Some clam steak. Oh, yeah. Mmm.
Yeah. Okay. Oh,
Okay, so let's see. We've gone through gold price. We've talked about trommels. We've talked about sluice boxes, vortex mats. We've talked about, what do we need to talk about? What day is tomorrow? What do we do on Thursdays?
give it away, give it away, give it away.
Oh, yeah.
Give-
Give it away, give it away, give it away now. Give it away, give it away, give it away now. So we got pay dirt giveaway tomorrow.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah,
show the package.
yeah. Pay dirt good. So what type of pay dirt do we got to give away? Let's take a look in our bag of goodies. And we have, okay, so that one's there, that one's there. We have pay dirt from
It's backwards.
Blue Sky
Oh,
Gold Mining. The Gold Mining
awesome.
Outfitters.
Yep.
So, pay dirt from Blue Sky. We're going to go ahead and give that away tomorrow. Now, here are the rules for the Thursday giveaway. As always, all you have to do is like and share the video on your Facebook page and watch the live stream.
So you can do
So,
Facebook, you can do Twitter, you can do anything you want.
yeah. So
Just share it.
if you're watching, if you like and share the video tomorrow night and you watch the actual live stream, not the post-production one, but you actually tune in at 6:30 tomorrow and watch the live stream. That's the only way that you can win. You have to interact in the chat, which is kind of weird. We haven't had anybody interact in the chat, really.
Yeah, we have. Lilia, Barbie, let's see. Yeah, Lily and Barbie.
Oh, do you know what happened? My chat
What?
got turned off.
Turn your chat on.
Really?
Like and share this one and will tomorrow as well. Oh, Barbie, thank you.
Barbie, you rock. Get it? We're prospectors. You rock.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you,
Yeah.
folks. I'll be here all week.
For the rest of our lives.
Okay, yep. I am the plague that haunts your dreams every night, but Saturday.
Yeah,
Okay, what
but
else do we got? What do we got coming
The
up?
book.
Sunday.
book.
Sunday.
Yep, show the giveaway. Yep,
We've got
show the book.
show the book, show the book, show the book, show it right now, show it now, show it. Why? Because there's gold in them thar hills. That's right, there are gold in them thar hills. Okay, this book right here. It's got lots of stuff. It's got signature from the author, signed copy of the book.
Yep.
You can read it. You can read
Lots
all
of
about different aspects of mining. There's all sorts of stuff here. You can even color because none of the pictures are colored. They're all drawings. So color away. Yay! I love coloring books. I never stay in the lines though. Ever.
Oh, you guys. You have no idea how
Okay.
funny it is.
What's that?
They're laughing, and I said, you have no idea how funny he is. Live with him for over 20 years, and you really get a good experience.
Yeah, she misses me, but her aim is improving.
Who misses you?
You.
I miss you.
Yeah, I said you miss me, but your aim is improving.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. But we're going to take care of that pretty soon here.
Well, I'll tell you what. You know what? On this Sunday's giveaway, I am going to throw some other stuff in there too.
Oh, you are?
I,
What are you gonna
I'm
throw in?
I'm gonna I'm gonna step it up. I'm gonna let's see, what does Emerald say? Bam!
Spice it up or whatever.
Yeah,
I have no idea what he says.
yeah, he
Cause I
says
don't wa
something.
I don't watch Emerald.
I don't either. I can cook better than he can.
I can't
Okay,
watch what you say.
we're gonna give one of these keychains away too. What are these
Those are
keychains, you ask?
they are
These
cool.
keychains are from Tan's boyfriend. These keychains are from the inventor of the gold cube.
He's not my boyfriend, you guys. I'm only
Not
dating
yet.
one guy. You're looking at him. Okay.
But Tan's gonna be taking Christine down and interviewing Mike at some point, and
Yeah.
that should be highly entertaining because Mike is awesome. I love Mike to death. He is just the coolest guy. And
Yeah, Sean's sending me with a chaperone.
yep, Dan has to have a chaperone.
Chaperone.
That's for Mike's safety, actually. So I'm doing it for his.
His
Okay,
safety.
so anyway, what this keychain is, and this is really cool because when I looked at it, I was like, I've seen those before, but I can't remember what they're for. Okay,
Yeah.
well, it's got a bottle opener.
Yeah.
Okay, obviously that's a bottle opener right there. But these
Uh-huh.
little teardrop looking things are for turning bolts. So when you go and you put the teardrop on, it grabs onto the opposite side of your hex head and you can turn it. Or if you've got a key screw, you can turn it with these. Or if
Yeah.
you've got a wing nut, you can turn it with these. These are so cool. They're actually made for the gold cube, but
Yeah, but you can use them for a lot of other stuff.
yeah, and they're pretty handy to have. So I'm going to throw in one of these with the pay dirt, and I think I'm going to throw in one more thing. What am I going to throw in? And we're going to throw in a pencil.
Got
You
the
want
address
this
and everything
pencil.
on it. And who's that pencil
I
from?
have, huh?
Who's that pencil from?
This pencil is from the National System of Public Lands. It's BLM, the Bureau of Land
Yep.
Management.
Yep.
Okay. I have not even sullied this eraser with earwax. Okay.
Jeez.
What? You've never done that?
No. Oh my God.
Okay. So brand new
Just go
pencil.
on through, Sean.
Hasn't even been sharpened yet. Brand new. You want
And
it.
okay.
Okay, so the pay dirt, the keychain, the pencil.
And the pencil. Yes, and the pencil.
The pencil is the piece de la resistance.
Uh-uh. Uh-uh.
Ooh la la. That's French. Ooh la la.
Oui, oui, monsieur.
Oui, oui. So we've got that. So we've got the giveaways taken care of now. We've got the gold prices done. We talked about trommels. We talked about vortex mat. I can't think of anything else to talk about.
We got the giveaways. We got plan another trip. So the 11th, we're going to Courtsville, and if anybody wants to
Yes.
join us, they're more than welcome to join us. All they have to do is message us and tell us that they want to join us, and if they're in the area, they're more than welcome to come. We have the equipment, and we'll show you how to use it,
Yep.
and we'll talk,
We sure
and
will.
we'll talk your ear off. Sean will.
Absolutely. In fact, there is a possibility that my compadre might be joining us, and I really hope that he does because getting the two of us together, you might as well be at a comedy factory or something because it is just never-ending, non-stop jokes, laughing, just cracking up
He's
constantly.
not talking about me. He's talking
No.
about his buddy.
Yeah, so if Corey does show up, you guys are gonna it's gonna be nonstop laughing. It is, yeah,
Plus, you
that's
have to
that's
deal
the
with.
only thing that really gets me through my work day is the fact that I work with Corey and
Yeah,
everybody around us is just constantly cracking up. They can't help it. So,
and then you get to watch Tan Pan.
yep.
I'm using. I
Corey
mean,
and I,
he got.
Corey and I will be behind her cracking jokes. She'll be like, "Would you guys shut up and pan already?
Where's my dirt? Yes.
It's in the ground still."
Thanks, honey. No, I look forward.
Alrighty,
I look
guys.
forward to going out and seeing Mike and introducing him to Christine and getting some information from him and visiting California. I haven't been there in a while,
Yep.
so it'll be interesting.
But
Plus we have a vehicle that's workable.
yeah, and that helps a lot. Um,
Yes.
in fact, I have a Chevy pickup that uh, yeah, you guys are just gonna have to wait to see it because it is very special. It is
He's really
just like
happy.
me. It's just like me. It's very special. Been hit in the head
Yeah.
a lot.
And my
Has no rhyme or
car is
reason.
special. We'll have to take pictures
Doesn't.
of our vehicles.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Because I'm really proud of mine.
I'm really proud of mine.
She has she has a very good reason to be proud of her vehicle. This guy, however, uh, point A to point B is a challenge.
Point A to B
That's
with
all I'm gonna say
comfort is
about
a
that.
challenge for me.
What's that?
I said point A and point B and comfort is a challenge for me.
Hey, you know what? It was Rebecca. She had posted something that said, uh, when you're giving me directions, do not use words like east or north.
Uh,
I love that. I was like, oh my God, that is so funny.
Because here in Oregon, that's one of their big things. You want to go east on this one, you want to go north on that. I didn't have anything to tell me east, north, southwest, or anything. Well, in my car, in my new car, yes, I do. It will tell me if I'm going northeast, south, or west. I don't know how many times I've gotten lost in Portland and went, where am I? Somebody save me. I'll be so
Usually,
glad. I'll be glad to get out of here.
when I show up on job sites, it never fails. The super will look at me and go, Oh, I want you to go over to the northeast corner of the building and I want you to start dismantling the stuff that's in the south section of the northeast corner. And I'm sitting there going, hold on. Pick up a handful of sand, drop it, see what it does, lick my finger, put it up in the air, look at the sun. They're like, what are you doing? Well, since you're not going to tell me where the northeast corner of the building is, I figured I'd consult with the spirits so that they would tell me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, okay, dude, do you know how silly you sound when you talk to somebody that just showed up at your job site and you're expecting them to be a human compass?
I'd have to run out to my car and kind of turn it. Okay, which way am I going?
Which way am I? Wait a minute. If I'm pointed east right now, which is the northeast corner of the building?
Hey, Ayla. I hope you got lots of votes for the baby.
Yep, I put in my vote. Did you guys put in your votes? If
Yep,
you
Ayla's.
didn't, go to
Look at.
Badass Mining Company's page, and there should be a link for Ayla's baby. Vote for
Yep.
Ayla's baby. Show Ayla some love.
Yeah, do. Because he's really a cutie, and she's such a great mom. I just saw her pictures of the Tulip Festival and with the baby in it, and oh my gosh, so beautiful. So I just he's adorable. That's something that I guess I'll go to next weekend. Is go out to the Tulip Festival.
Those are flowers, right?
My favorite flower.
I'm
Yeah,
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm playing stupid right now. I'm not
my
really that
my
dumb.
very favorite flower in all the world is a tulip. I love tulips. They're just they're simple. A lot of them don't have that awful smell to them, and they last quite a while. But I love them. I think they're beautiful.
Do you
Hint,
remember what my favorite type of flowers are?
I don't know anything you can dig up out of the ground that has roots to it. No, darling, I don't. What's your favorite flower?
Nobody ever remembers my favorite stuff.
I could say it, but it wouldn't be appropriate.
Um,
Let's say,
no,
what's your favorite?
I,
What's your favorite?
what?
What's your favorite flower?
I really, really, really like elephant palms.
Oh, that's not a flower.
Yeah, it is. It has a flower.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, they do. They have a flower. They don't have a lot of flowers, but they have a really pretty
They
flower.
don't have. It's a green plant. It's a green plant.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's green. There's no flowers in it. I've never
Sure
seen a
there are.
flower. Okay. I was gonna say forget me nots.
You know what? I those used to be my favorite one, but I could never remember what they were called.
Forget me nots. I don't know. I remember how many times your mother has not used curse words, but has cursed us because of the forget me nots we planted in her. Uh, we forget me nots will grow just about anywhere, and I love them. They're sweet. They're small. They're very delicate, and
And
yes,
what is the main reason why we are so fond of the forget-me-not?
because it's the Alaska state flower. But
Exactly.
see, but see, that's what I thought you were going to say because I remember picking forget-me-nots and handing them to you.
I was actually trying to remember what they were called. That's why I couldn't why I didn't say it, and the only thing that popped into my head was elephant
The
palm
palm,
because I
elephant
actually
palm.
like elephant palm flowers, even though they're not technically a flower.
Okay. Well, see, I was right, but
No, you weren't.
forget-me-nots, yes. Yes, I was.
I was right.
Yes, I was. No,
I was,
elephant
I was right.
palms are not a flower.
I was right. Yes, they are
Mm.
flowers.
Yes, this
My
goes
favorite
on.
type,
Go
my
ahead.
favorite type of plant is a barbed wire plant.
A barbed wire plant? What is that?
They all they are is a vine with barbed
Thorns?
thorns on them that are like that long.
My God.
And see, here's the thing about those is you plant them underneath your windows and your
Keeps people
kids
from
will
getting in.
never sneak out at night.
Maybe that's what we should have done.
We didn't need to. We had me.
Well, no, well,
How many
with the
times did
girl
I bust people from sneaking out of the house?
every time,
Every time.
every time. Yes, every time. Kian could not move without being found out. Tiana could
Nope.
not move without being found out. But she was
Nope.
really good about telling us everywhere she was going to go. So,
She
but
was
yeah,
not very good about having people underneath her bed. In fact,
okay, we're not going to go there.
well, we can go there because it's a pretty funny story, the one that I know of, because we
Uh,
knew there was somebody underneath the bed, so we kept popping in so they could never get out from underneath the bed. And it just become entertainment for the night is what it become. So, but
yeah,
it was hilarious. You'd hear a little bit of movement and you'd know what was going on, so you'd go walking down the hall really loud, and then all of a sudden they'd shuffle back underneath the bed. It
trying to
was
get out.
awesome.
There was nothing going on. They were just trying to get out.
Yep.
I don't know. Kian's big thing was he'd tell us where he was going to go, and then after he got through going, he would tell us what he did. And the things that he did were the things that I was like, I don't want to hear anymore. I don't want to hear anymore. Yeah, Mom, we went out to this one area and we grabbed a hold of the back of the car and it was snowing like crazy, icy outside, and we were doing wheelies hanging on to the back of the car. What? What? Jeez. Don't tell your mother
Yeah.
these things. Don't tell me these things.
Yeah. Tell your dad and you can swap stories of the stupid crap that he did when he was your age.
Oh, it wasn't even his age. Okay, so Sean's in a wheelchair and he is holding on to the back of his dad's truck. And his
Oh,
dad
down the street. That's right. I forgot all about that.
going down the street, and his mother and I are standing behind them, and I've got Kian's really small at this time. Well, if you want to call it small, but anyway, so we're walking down back behind him, and Jim is just his father has decided to drive a little bit faster. Well, wheelchairs do not do that very well,
The
and
front wheels have a tendency to start doing this
yes, and
until they're not front wheels anymore. They're stops.
and that's exactly what happened. We go running up on him, going, "Are you okay?" And of course, at this time he couldn't speak, but he was laughing so hard, and his dad was just like, "Hey, is he okay? Oh, he's all right. Just brush him off. Let's do it again."
Hey, so you guys really missed out. There was a period of about, what, 8 years to where I couldn't talk.
Yeah.
So you guys actually caught me after I could start talking again. So, haha, you're bad.
Oh, that was an interesting time. Poor Sean. Yeah, we had to teach him how to finger spell because he couldn't retain the other information, and he and I would get into arguments, and it was like You can't talk. You have to write it down. Oh my gosh.
And the weird part about that is I can finger spell faster than most deaf people can read my finger spelling. I can't read finger spelling. I could do it very proficiently. I can't read it.
Well,
So,
it's
and
the
I
thing is,
suck at American Sign Language.
well, at work it's really funny because we have a group of people that come in and they're all mute, and I it was like all of a sudden all the finger spelling came back to me, and the one of the girls has got a person who speaks, and she goes, you know, you do that so well, you should take out sign language. And I told her, I said, I'd love to, but I just can't find the time. And then I saw a video with a bunch of moms, and they were doing the sign language to the song. I thought, you know, that's really a good way to learn how to do it. Um, but I don't know. Can I finger spell without doing the head bobbing for the heavy metal? But anyway, yes. So it is time for us to go. Sadly,
Yes, indeed
we're
it
getting
is.
silly. We're getting silly.
Uh,
So
I think I started off that way, and I'm definitely finishing strong. So,
okay. Well, I love everybody.
alrighty, guys. Well, as always, we love each and every one of you. You guys take care of yourselves and each other. And as always, we are out of here until the next time.
Peace.
Peace.
Bye.